Is there a power trip involved?
Somebody entered my funeral illegally.
You are an escort.
Next, Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil, today at 4 on KC24.
Fresno Pacific University will be welcoming back students starting next Monday for the fall semester. After our Japanese lesson during the Olympics, we wanted to find out more about how they're teaching the next generation of educators. And now I'm here with Autumn Witt. We brought her back. She taught me Japanese, if you catch that episode. She is from the Language and Literacy program. You're an associate professor at Fresno Pacific University.
Yes.
Thanks for coming back.
It's my pleasure.
We're not going to do a foreign language lesson today.
Okay.
I'm the worst student. But I want to talk just about the Language and Literacy program at Fresno Pacific University.
Right.
So let's give us a broad overview of the program there.
Sure. So beginning as undergraduates, students have a lot of opportunities where they can start exploring intercultural studies. They can do a semester abroad in Costa Rica. They can study abroad in a number of other places. And that gets their interest whetted in learning another language and learning another culture. And I believe that learning another language opens so many doors, so many opportunities for you. And coupled with that, literacy, like learning literacy, is like the most important transformative and foundational skill that we teach students. So for me, getting to work in those areas of both language and culture and literacy brings together, I think, the most valuable things that you can gain at university.
Okay, so I like that you make that distinction between language and the literacy part.
Right.
Let's talk more about the literacy part. What exactly are you teaching your students for, you know, for those of us that didn't study that?
Right. So in Fresno Pacific, we have a School of Education and Graduate Teacher Education. So we actually have a master's in reading and language in the School of Education. And in that program, students learn the reading and writing process, and they also learn second language acquisition methods.
Oh.
So there's the whole process of your brain learning a language, which includes spoken and written. And spoken and written language reinforce each other.
Okay.
Just as you may have experienced as a language learner, you like to hear some, but you also like to see it. Right.
Yes.
But we also teach the importance of the socio-cultural context of a language learner.
Okay.
So when you're learning to read, you have all of those cues of your culture, your first language, about how do you decode reading. What are the cues that you pick up within the text? How do you then apply that and use that?
So for our grad students, the literacy part of the program is very theoretical, which then, you know, can help you teach later on. If you know the theory behind something, you can help teach literacy to, you know, anybody. What about the undergrad side of the program? And
on the undergrad side of things, we have linguistics and intercultural studies, those things that give you a really solid foundation in the syntax, in the grammar of understanding a language, but then also, again, the sociocultural context, which is so important. You can't separate those two.
Yes, I like that you bring up the cultural part of it. And I love this program because I think, you know, in America we don't learn, although it is becoming more common practice. My mom is a teacher and she teaches, she substitutes elementary school, and more elementary schools are doing dual immersion. So you learn English and you learn Spanish, but that was not a thing when I was growing up. And it is so much harder to learn a language when you get older.
It is, which is why it's so wonderful that there are expanded bilingual programs now. And Fresno Pacific also offers that bilingual endorsement to train teachers to be able to be in those dual language Spanish immersion classes, because that helps students grow both languages and then graduate as a bilingual, which is such a gift to have.
It really is a gift. I love that, because once you know 2 languages, it's a little easier to pick up more languages and be able to, you know, meld into and experience more cultures. What languages do you speak?
I speak Japanese and Spanish.
Okay. How did you learn those?
By being in places where I got to communicate with people. So I went to graduate school at the University of Arizona, had a lot of opportunities to speak Spanish there, and then I lived in Japan, as I said, for 3 years, which immersed me in a community, let me talk with my students. So I think language acquisition is all about the ability to communicate. So we need to give students that internal drive and motivation to want to learn, and then the opportunities to be able to use that.
I can't believe you went to U of A. I did my undergrad at ASU, so we're rivals.
Look at that.
I love the motivation factor about learning another language, which I think I've always wanted to learn another language, but I didn't get that until I started traveling the world. So I'd go to a place, I wouldn't be able to communicate, and now I'm like, okay, I gotta learn Spanish. Because I want to go to all these places and be able to experience these places on a different level. So if people are interested, where can they learn more information about your program?
Absolutely. So you should go to fresno.edu to learn more about Fresno Pacific. Then you can look at the School of Education, and we have a number of programs. Like I said, there's the bilingual program, there's the reading and languages program, and we would love to meet with you.
Okay, Autumn Witt, inspiring me every day. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And Fresno Pacific University has just announced the Golden State Teacher Grant. This one-time grant offers qualifying students up to $20,000. We're told applicants must currently be enrolled in a preliminary credential program and are set to teach in a designated high-need field of education. They must also commit to teaching in that field for 4 years within the first 5 years of completing their teacher preparation program. To learn more and find a link to apply, you can go to our website, yourcentralvalley.com. And we're back with some Powered by Quality Home Services after this.
J-Pot specializes in authentic mini hot pot, Chinese barbecue, and boba tea. Enjoy tasty barbecue and drinks from our full bar. Come enjoy our large variety of flavor of mini hot pot from all over Asia.